So, welcome everyone to a very special satsang. Uh, it's a very special one dedicated to Guru Maharaj. And uh, I just wanted to say that I'm very glad that I'm here and you all are here. And the goal is to, you know, um, get a nugget of peace in our life through this process that Guru Maharaj set up almost a century ago. And this format will be slightly different for people who have been joining the English session on Saturdays or the traditional. But, you know, on the outset, I feel the way Guru Maharaj packaged the satsang sessions, it's three parts. One is transition in uh, and transition into meditation, practice meditation, and then transition out. So, what doesn't change is the core part of the meditation. What does change is how do you transition in and out? And we have been experimenting a little bit on the transition in and transition out. So, for example, today, instead of traditional prayers, in this session, we'll have music. But music is basically those prayers were converted to musical notes, and I definitely would want some direct feedback on what worked, what didn't work. But let's get into it. Today, we're talking about this spiritual journey, the 5 steps to nirvana, or 5 steps to self realization, maybe better. So let me first ask Eddie to come and talk a little bit about satsang, like very high level. Um, just we do that to begin with in all English sessions anyway. So Eddie.
Uh, Thank you, Sanjeev. Uh, Juan, do you have the graphic for today? Guru Maharaj in the 1930s, Guru Maharaj created a system of satsang that was based upon his life experiences. The system of yoga that he created was a simpler system uh, than what was previously being practiced. You see, because the previous yoga systems, complicated rituals and practices has slowly crept their way in. So Guru Maharaj instituted this more simpler system that householders who had little time and lacked the vitality to accomplish complicated spiritual practices could achieve with just dedicating 20 to 30 minutes in the morning and afternoon or evening. So during the time of his coming, um, the state of society was sort of, there was a loss of awareness of self, and ignorance was at a high level. It was pervasive. We were in the Kali Yuga phase of conscious development, which means that we were at a low point in the evolution of mankind and consciousness. People lived in an inharmonious way, and this is what really led to their decrease in vitality, and so they were unable to perform various uh, sadhana, spiritual sadhana, or spiritual practices. Um, there was also a common belief that in order to achieve enlightenment, that one had to renounce life and go to the mountains and become a recluse. And there was also a great concern for generating personal income as this was necessary to support not only themselves but also family members as well. And so, in a sense, I guess in summary, you could say that spiritual growth became stagnant. It fell short of where it needed to be. And then Guru Maharaj, in my estimation, saw the need or heard the call, saw what I call the bat signal, and he answered it. And he did that by coming here, implementing his system of yoga. And so, if you look at the graphic, you'll see the first element is satsang. And satsang is the general method that we use to achieve peace, light, and love in our lives, or to achieve those higher states of consciousness or natural samadhi. Meditation is an important element of satsang. It is one of the things Guru Maharaj established that is simpler than previous meditations, whereby it only requires 20 to 30 minutes in the morning or in the evening. With meditation, our minds become calm, and the 5 sheaths that Sanjeev mentioned, are able to be purified and cleansed. And this allows us to reestablish our transcendental ascent to those higher planes of consciousness, which were unfortunately blocked by the lack of spiritual progress, or the blockage caused by our life's activities and our inability to perform spiritual sandhana. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang: outer satsang and inner satsang. A form of outer satsang would be chanting or ritual or idol worship or taking pilgrimage. Outer satsang is where people begin, but it doesn't lead to the target state. It doesn't lead to nirvana. At some point, you must exit that train and board the train to inner satsang. Inner satsang is the method that we practice, where we sit and meditate in silence and focus on light entering into our hearts. Through inner meditation, our minds become calm, and the 5 sheaths which block our transcendental ascent through those 5 spiritual realms slowly become cleansed, and allowing us to pass through those realms, or as we say, to climb the 5 steps of the spiritual pyramid. Group orientation. When we participate in a group, our focus is increased and our spiritual progress becomes expedited. As we attend each week, we have the opportunity to perfect our technique and to amplify the benefits of group participation. Joy and inner happiness. You know, at the time Guru Maharaj came into this world, as I said earlier, people were suffering. Just, summarily said, people were suffering. And so they were experiencing the inner happiness and joy that their inner soul seeks. So through the practice of meditation, our inner happiness increases, gradually so, and then ultimately culminating in a joyous state, which is synonymous with a high state of samadhi. Our agenda for today will primarily be the same. We will be given information about satsang, in this particular case, about the 5 spiritual realms, or the 5 steps of the spiritual pyramid, followed by a practice session where we'll learn the method meditation followed by a period of practice. And then there will be either a question and answer session or a board discussion. And now I turn things over to today's facilitator, Sanjeev Kumar.
So, I was looking at the agenda slide and it says 20 minutes transition in, 40 minutes in the core practice, and 20 minutes after. So, usually these sessions we culminate in an hour, but this would be, it's a special one. So, probably, hour and 20, maybe hour and 30 minutes today. So, just forewarning. Um, So, yeah, today we wanted to revisit this pyramid, 5 steps of self realization, call it this spiritual journey. The aim of human life is to be free, free of all bindings, attachments, ignorance, and to be peaceful. Also, that state would probably be referred to as self realization. So, self realization basically is nothing but attainment of true knowledge. So we ought to be the embodiment of Sat, Chit, and Anand, as Eastern scriptures have talked about, which is our natural state, a state of unchanging peace and joy. So journey to that and journey to self-realization is basically the reverse traveling towards that natural state of, as Eddie was referring to, the state of love, peace, and light. And fortunately, in my life, I have seen satsang can, actually get folks to um, that top of the pyramid, and you know so it's effective, but one thing is that not everybody who practices gets there, and that is where I think the consistency of practice and how we're guided through, or how we are dedicated and so on and so forth, matters. This 5 step process is as old as Upanishads, which is like thousands of years old. So each step tones are like, say, first one is more about the physical body, then breathing, then the mind, then the intellect or the consciousness, and ultimately addresses the ego, which is in a way the most abstract or the subtle ego in that sense. So we are made up of the most abstract ego as the innermost covering, and to the outermost covering of our physical body. And that journey from here to there is, the 5 steps. So, most of us tend to consider the physical body as the true self, totally oblivious to the fact that we are way more than just a physical entity. So we are conscious, where we can live at a higher consciousness level. Still, most of us consider what's happening in the physical and outer world is that perceived reality is the reality, and the outer events in the physical world drive our inner states of happiness and sadness. And the sole aim of every human being becomes the maximization of that happiness that we achieve through um, the materialistic progress. And however, the inability to control the external factors in the physical, um, you know, um, world continually brings increased sorrow and unrest. And it is only when we totally get fed up with this continuous fluctuation and oscillation between happy and sad states, we finally realize the material gains fail to bring lasting peace and joy in our lives. And then we start seeking. And once you do that, your 5-step journey has begun. So sometimes meeting a person who embodies peace, light, and love also could trigger, like, where am I and why am I not, there? Once we realize that we have to look inwards for peace, that's when the 5-step journey towards lasting peace and joy begins. This, so just to talk a little more about this, hoping I'm keeping this time check here. So, realm of the world, the dwellers of this realm are stuck in physical aspect of life, materialistic aspect of the world around. Their thought process and actions are directed towards worldly gains and comfort, primarily, eat, drink, and be merry. So, and mostly would prefer to ignore any of the above realms of higher consciousness. The physical world, physical existence is true reality. Peace has to be found within this world. And it is only when the constant failure to achieve consistent and lasting happiness and peace by, you know, that process is when you realize, okay, I got to do something else. And I think that's the example when, if you want to, from Washington, D.C., you want to go to New York and you take, 95 South, you know so that's what we all tend to do. Where there is no peace, if we are searching, we won't find. But then, once we realize, so we step, just that realization makes us step into the realm of life. In this realm, the focus is still on physical actions that are directed to discipline the body towards actions that help achieve better concentration, help steer towards higher consciousness. These actions could be going to temple, church, mosque, etc., chanting, mantras, even breathing exercises. These actions come under the category of karma yoga as well. So that's where karma yoga starts, but takes you up there. The realization that these physical actions are actually initiated by the mind rather than, so as soon as we realize that basically by doing chanting, we are concentrating our mind and mind is the focus, then you cross over to the realm of mind. The effort needed here is to discipline the mind, make it calm, peaceful, positive, emotionally stable, more receptive to imbibe transcendental energy, which we will practice later on. So the mind controls our physical and emotional actions that makes the major part of our lives and manifests that manifests in both our inner and outer world. So this realm is considered to be the biggest or the thickest of them all. The longest part of the journey takes a while to cross, and that is where, on Guru Poornima, we should thank Guru Maharaj to have pulled all this together in a way that anybody, normal people, can just pursue this goal to go to the top of the pyramid. So I think I can go on and on, but in the realm of knowledge, I think what happens is when you your focus and concentration that you achieve through in the realm of mind, now you are able to become more and more the reflection of the transcendental energy yourself. And ultimately, you become ready to receive the knowledge required for self realization. And that is what happens in the realm of knowledge. So, your intellect, your brain helps you distinguish right from wrong, true from false, real from unreal. No more controlled by emotions or passions and guided by pure knowledge. This state results in more lasting peace and happiness that we were seeking. And now you are on cruise control, where you don't have to make much effort, but just this process, autopilot process, moves you towards the top. And the only thing left now for you to get to the very top is the awareness of self or me or the ego. And that's the fifth stage of the journey, the realm of love, where the knowledge that you have gained in the prior step, and that realizing that you yourself are the energy that drives the universe. You are made of stardust, quoting Carl Sagan here. The knowledge, such knowledge results in fearlessness, leads to pure love. There are no emotions, passions, expectations, or actions left. It is love, pure love, that's left. And still faint awareness of the sense of me, and that, the final frontier, is the to become part of the cosmic energy, or becoming, or melding with it, or having yoga, which is uniting with it, or satsang, which is satsang, being with that, transcendental energy. So, you know, so that's pretty much what satsang does, and and in a way defines satsang. Meditation at the core. So a strike in the middle. The lower ones will be covered if you take care of the realm of the mind, and then just go from there upwards and eventually to the top of the pyramid. And at this point, I would ask Raghunathji to talk a little more about the 5 steps, a slightly different perspective, and then we'll get into the meditation. So promise not too long.
Okay, we were just listening about the 5 steps which would lead us to self-realization. Now, there's a process of progression or evolution which perhaps happens simultaneously while climbing these steps. On page 27 of the biography of Dada Guru, authored by Guru Maharaj, we are told about the existence of 4 kingdoms: kingdom of rocks, kingdom of vegetables, kingdom of animals, and kingdom of man. We are further told of 3 stages of evolution. In the first stage, he belonged to the kingdom of rocks and vegetables. In the second stage, he stayed in the kingdom of rocks, vegetables, and animals, and had glimpses of the kingdom of man. In the third stage of progression or evolution, he enters the kingdom of man. However, entry into the kingdom of man does not make him a perfect human. Further, Guru Maharaj tells us that upper echelon of the kingdom of man, the residence of perfect human, is placed above kingdom of gods. The heaven, perhaps the 5th step that we were listening earlier. Guru Maharaj emphasizes that perfect human stage at a higher echelon, higher pedestal, is beautifully expressed in Emerson's poem Brahm. Emerson says, "The strong gods pine for my abode, and pine in vain the sacred 7. But thou, meek lover of the good, find me and turn thy back on heaven." The strong gods are weak, not strong at all. They are chained to their desire for power. They are in bondage of Prakriti. They have failed in the practice of non-attachment. In one of the most celebrated passages in the Kathopanishad, Yam, the god of death, in a remorseful voice tells Nachiketas, "Well, I know that earthly treasure lasts but till the morrow. Did not I myself wishing to be the king of death, make sacrifices with fire. But the sacrifice was a fleeting thing, performed with fleeting objects, and small is my reward. Seeing that only for a flash will my supremacy endure, it has obviously become clear to him that someday he must leave his kingdom and be reborn as a man. Then and only then, he will have another prospect to turn his back from heaven, if the kingdom of gods, and seek the kingdom of gods, and seek the union with the Atman, which can only be achieved by becoming a perfect human. Whether or not it is the evolution as described by Darwin or Lamarck or the Upanishads, it makes no difference. In the process of evolution, a human being has attained the status of having choice, of being able to become a perfect human. By having acquired the form of a human, we become resident in the kingdom of man. It does not make us perfect human. A prerequisite to achieve freedom, absolute freedom. Call this freedom liberation, call it self-realization, call it nirvana, call it Kabul, call it by any name you wish. The transformation from human to perfect human must take place to achieve the fifth stage. This progression from human to perfect human may be achieved through sadhana and satsang, as we were listening in the 5 steps.
So, the way actually Guru Maharaj's guru used to say the objective of satsang is nothing but to make you a better human being. And I think that's what Raghunathji was telling. And so, the core of this all is the practice, because practice makes the man perfect, or makes us perfect. So let's get into it, and then we'll discuss a little more about the, especially the benefits of this 5-step journey, and hence satsang. So as we usually do, first step is, keep your eyes lightly closed and observe your body, that it's completely relaxed, because, for 20 some minutes, you want to keep your body from distracting your mind. So every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So having a relaxed posture is very important. Eyes lightly closed to keep the distractions out, and then think of this transcendental energy in form of light in front of you, that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and that you're completely getting immersed in this energy. Key is that, we feel the presence, the connection, that it's right here, right now, and through entering through the heart, and we're just becoming part of it, uniting with it. And we are becoming this energy. So mind will wander away. And once you realize that mind has wandered away, bring it back to the thought, and this thought alone, that this light in front of us is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are getting completely and totally immersed in this light. So we'll have music to start with, but you can just continue the meditation. Then there will be silent meditation, and then music afterwards as well. So let's start now. So, Ajay ji, let's talk a little bit about the benefits of satsang.
Sure, Sanjeev ji. One, can I have the that pyramid that Sanjeev ji had shown before us? Yeah. Thank you very much. Uh, Thank you, Sanjeev ji, and it's great to be part of this meditation session today. And I will briefly try to, throw some light on the benefits of this practice that Guru Maharaj gave us. Just for context, first, I will begin by saying that our Guru Maharaj has written volumes of books, and if one goes through some of them, it is difficult to read everything that he has written. But even going through some of the books that he has written, one gets the sense of the depth of knowledge, or the completeness of knowledge that he had about the various yoga and spiritual practices. And the practice that he ended up giving us is actually was born out of that in-depth knowledge and his own experiences on his spiritual journey. So there are numerous types of yoga or spiritual practices. Everybody knows that there are several of these practices which are there, and all of them, the aim is to traverse vertically on this pyramid or the realms that Sanjeev ji was talking about. Now, there are two things that one needs to consider. Once somebody is evaluating a practice, for its characteristics. One is the initiation point of the practice. Now, as we look at this pyramid, it would be intuitively, it may appear intuitively that one has to progress, start from the realm of the world and then progress through life, mind, knowledge, and then finally to love. But that is not absolutely true. One can begin the practice at any of these realms, and then they can progress upwards. Now, as Sanjeev ji mentioned, the bottom of this pyramid is the realm of the world, which is the longest uh, or the biggest and the most difficult to traverse. And Guru Maharaj has said that whatever it takes to uh, make one's journey through the realm of the world and the realm of the life is either very time consuming or it is physically arduous. For example, if one was to master all the asanas that are described in the practice of Hatha Yoga, it takes almost a lifetime to master all of those asanas. And the entire life may be spent in just fixing those asanas and, in the realm of the world. So our practice that he gave, the practice that he gave us actually begins at the level of the realm of the mind. Now, it does not mean that once we start this practice, the bottom to the realm of the world and realm of the life, they automatically, get fixed. But as we progress in this practice, which starts at the realm of the mind with the concentration of mind, it sufficiently aligns the bottom two levels, which is the realm of the world and the realm of the life. Now, it does not make us perfect in all the asanas that there are, and it does not make us perfect in all the breathing techniques that there are that one can master. But what it does is it just sufficiently aligns our body and energy so that we can effectively traverse upwards or in a vertical orientation through these realms up to the realm of the mind. Now, when we align our body and energy by first controlling our mind, that process is way more time efficient and physically less arduous than if one was to start from the realm of the world and slowly step by step ascend upwards. So that's the first thing that our practice does is to start at the realm of the world, fix and control the mind, which will then align the bottom two realms and make the practice more efficient. Now, the second thing one needs to consider about various practices is the range of the practice. Now, with range, what I mean is the range on a vertical axis on this pyramid. Now, a practice can start from the bottom of the pyramid, which is the realm of the world, and it can take someone up to the realm of the mind and get capped there. It could start from the realm of the life and get capped at the realm of the mind. It can start at the realm of the mind and go all the way up to the top, or get capped at the realm of knowledge. I mean, in other words, the vertical range of a practice of all practices is not the same. And the range of the practice is determined by the means, techniques, methods, or for lack of a better term, ingredients of the practice. Now, out of the numerous yoga practices that exist, there is one universal truth that every yoga practice believes in, and that is the first sutra of Maharishi Patanjali, who is considered the father of yoga. And that is that one needs to concentrate their mind to an absolute point if they are to progress meaningfully in a yoga practice. Now, this one universal truth is is considered true to be by all the yoga practices that exist. But where the yoga practices differ is how do we concentrate, achieve that level of concentration. Now, even in the realm of the world and life, when we are trying to control our body and our energy, what actually we are trying to do is to first control the body and energy, and then to gain a control of the mind. So that is an inefficient way of doing it. Now, the important thing here is to realize, as to now one can focus, one's mind, on many things. I mean, Guru Maharaj has mentioned several things. We can use physical objects, we can use our body, we can use we can use the energy to focus our mind, and then we can get up to the level of the realm of the mind, which is the middle of this pyramid. But to progress beyond that level, one need one needs a special thing, which is inner wisdom. Now, not everything that we will use to focus our mind will give us that inner wisdom. So Guru Maharaj gave us this practice where we focus on transcendental energy. Now, as we sit in the middle of this pyramid and focus our mind on transcendental energy, two things happen simultaneously. The bottom two realms get aligned because of the act of concentration. And we also place ourselves in a favorable position to traverse upwards along the realm of the knowledge, because the transcendental energy which we focus on, it unlocks and awakens an inner wisdom in our minds. And this inner wisdom is the one that will impart us knowledge, which will carry us through the realm of the knowledge. If we focus on things which do not unlock and awaken the inner wisdom, which is needed to uh, progress through the realm of the knowledge, then our progress will get capped at the realm of the mind, unless we figure out another way to add, unless we make a hybrid practice, or we change the practice so that we can then get that inner wisdom that will take us through the realm of the knowledge. So when Guru Maharaj gave us this practice where we focus on transcendental light, what he was actually doing was what it actually does is it opens our path all the way up, all the way from the realm of the mind through the realm of the knowledge. Now, the final frontier that Sanjeev ji had mentioned is the ego. And Guru Maharaj has mentioned several times in his texts that there are many examples where people progress quite a bit up this pyramid, up to the realm of knowledge, and the final, and they falter at the final frontier, or the ego, and cannot, progress up to the top of the pyramid. Now, the practice that he gives us also helps us in that regard, although nothing is guaranteed in life. But uh, what the practice does is that it does not convey to us a sense that we are doing something. He just tells us that you sit there and imagine that the transcendental light is falling upon you. So whatever benefit we get out of the practice, we attribute to the transcendental light and not to ourselves. Now, when we don't attribute that progress to ourselves, what it does is that it does not bolster our ego, and it becomes much more likely that we will not falter when we reach at that final stage. It is more likely, this practice makes it more likely that we will be able to traverse that final frontier, because the way the practice is designed, it does not uh, let you, bolster your ego that I have achieved this much spiritual progress, and it does not feed into your ego in that way. And so it makes it more likely that we, if and when we come to that final frontier, we will be in a better shape to handle it than some practices which convey to you the sense that I have achieved so much spiritual progress, and bolster the ego, and cause a downfall at the final stage. So the practice that Guru Maharaj has given us, at in all the aspects, if one considers, it is a practice which is a relatively efficient and easy method for vertical progress along this pyramid of nirvana, and it will take us, it has the potential to take us right up to the top of the pyramid, and does not cap our progress in the middle somewhere. So hopefully we will all benefit from this practice.
Oh, thank you so much. This was literally enlightening. I think at least I have been trying to explain this pyramid in many ways, and this really goes into some details that we needed. One thing Guru Maharaj has talked about is how in the fifth realm, uh, you need someone else to steer you through that, because, um, you know, if we knew all our faults, including how the subtle ego, the most subtle aspect of ego, is still, keeping us from merging with, the transcendental energy, and becoming one with it. So that sometimes is to be done by someone else, and that was, you know, the role of the guru in some ways. And, you know, um, not everybody gets there, and not everybody, including the person and the guru, are perfect. And as, Ajayji was describing, the possibility of falling actually, and the ego plays on all realms, and the chances that we could uh, just go back to where we started, um, I think that possibility exists at all points, unfortunately. So anyway, so Pradeep, would you uh, throw some more light here?
Namaskar, Bhai Sahab, and Namaskar, everybody. After listening to all that we have listened, I don't think I am competent enough to uh, add any more to it. But I would say two things. This is a occasion of Guru Poornima, and we are also celebrating the birth centenary of uh, a great man whom I, in English at least, refer to as my spiritual father, and that he was a spiritual father not to just me, but for many. And he was the embodiment I saw of what a perfect human being that Raghunathji was talking about. And I got a message during this Guru Purnima from a friend who break down the word Guru Purnima as Guru Purnima. So literally, your spiritual teacher or guide is the one who, like a mother, makes you a complete or true human being. Now, we all have heard that mother is a child's first teacher, but looking at that message, it occurred to me that how Guru or your spiritual guide uh, acts like a mother, because the very encounter, I think the Western world is aware of the word born again. We have a word in Hindi and Sanskrit called Dvij. That is uh, that has the same meaning. That's when your second birth occurs, when you meet your guru or guide. While I will not, and so I will just say a few of his uh, words with this audience. In one of his articles in Atitagat or Anand, he that's a call to the youth of the world. He makes a point that if a person anywhere in the world lived all his life in poverty, and just before his death, he attains all the wealth of the world, that wealth will be of no use. So, with that, he was asking the youth to start investing in whatever they consider to be, worthy in their life. And this, as we have been hearing, that there he points out that without the physical wealth, probably with the patience and forbearance, you can get through, but without this spiritual wealth, you will always remain miserable. So that was one of the points. The other thing he says goes out there is that talking about past glory and taking inspiration from the past is good, but the real and true benefit of this human life is to realize the self, realize the God. And the result of that uh, realization is that this kind of covers the journey we are talking about, that you see the divinity in one, that is your guru or the person you have found uh, to guide you spiritually, is the beginning. To see the divinity in the entire creation, in everybody, is the next step. But then realizing the duality of the world and duality of the existence, and that each and every one of us is human and divine at the same time, is the real thing. And that actually also goes to what a true human being is. And the result of this, he says, that result of it is love and love, service, physical, mental, spiritual, going beyond the idea of evil and good, and be that true human being that we were listening to earlier. The other place he points out that these days we have all the talk of religion. You have myriad of tools. We are sitting on this virtual call, right? We have television programs. We have uh, hundreds of channels that are always talking about spirituality. So as a result, you would expect that world will be filled with the upright and moral and fair and decent people. But that doesn't happen. On the contrary, you do see, and we are seeing, uh, here, everywhere, the religious fanatics. And there he points out that the reason we are observing this is because that when we talk of religion, we forget the soul of religion itself, which is spirituality. Without that uh, spirituality, we with the if you are following a religion which is inspired by spirituality, then you would see the true human beings, which doesn't necessarily take you away. It makes you a true man of your faith and a true human being in general. And what should happen? How would you know that he or she is a uh, become a true human being? That will be reflected in their day-to-day behavior. It is, and that's why the one when you are able to see the divinity as well as the humanity of individuals, that is the point where you get to that you are able to treat them as as a divine. That means you will treat people around you with respect, treat them nicely, fairly, and at the same time, you know that you will treat a child like a child and a elderly person like it. So whatever is needed is what you uh, and this we have observed at a very close quarters. How he treated uh, the peoples around him, and to me. Uh, that abstract concepts I can't talk about too much. I don't understand and I can't claim to explain them. The serving the world by being who you are in this world, in this time at present, is what he taught us. And I and so many of us who had the privilege, that's a privilege of lifetime to uh, have that association. So those were the two thoughts that was coming to me, Vaishnav. Thank you.
Well, couldn't have been a better summarization. I, uh, thank Pradeep that he brought up what I actually wanted to talk about, but thought like it was getting too long. So, yeah, Guru Maharaj's middle son centennial celebration would be in India in Mathura in September. And a lot of us, including me, will be planning to join that. And, you know, uh, what I, just to add two more things, I think we're already on time now, but, um, you know, I have been talking about where does satsang take us? So essentially, it has the potential to take us to the top of the pyramid. So what does it look like? So looking at them, my uncles and Guru Maharaj's description, his books, and all that. Peace, light, and love is what I feel. But then, in the book that Pradeep was referring to, um, he describes himself, or let's just say he actually described people at the top of the pyramid. Um, so very kind and love for every creature, and I think Pradeep emphasized on that. He saw that in action there, and love for every creature, not just humans, not being narrow-minded and caught up in ill will, etc. Very tolerant, simple and minimalist life. So limited needs. I mean, while he lived a very, I would say, in a way, in his own way, very lavish life, but the needs were very limited. So it's a very interesting, uh, you know, nuance there. No hypocrisy or diplomacy, same inside and out, no pomp and show, actually, way, way far from it. No unnecessary criticism or praise, but he would scold people when necessary in public. Happy in others' happiness, sad in their sadness, kind hearted, very soft hearted, actually pure at heart, kind to even those who oppose, helping those who even would tend to hurt, never think of, you know, the concept of mine versus ours, and that sharing, caring, compassion, and all that. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight on this Guru Poornima that very, very fortunate to have folks who have like basically shown that satsang works. All right, so now I think we're wrapping up, but would wrap up with, call it a Q&A, call it a panel discussion, call it, just a conversation. And I think, based on what all we have heard, I think some comments, and even some questions, I think might not be a bad thing to wrap up with. All right. So two things. If you want to be added to the screen, feel free to ask in the chat or raise. You can raise a hand here electronically. Put your videos on if possible, and then let's go. So who would go first? So, Luz, you have been on these sessions. How was this, slightly different format?
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. So glad to see everyone as usual. I love my meditation friends here. I am so impressed and I'm so dumbfounded really by the messages that were stated today. I have no comments. I'm just I feel extremely lucky to have been present today, and to hear all of these thoughts. I'm so sorry I don't have anything to add, but
No, I actually, you said it all already, and I would second that thought. That it just feels so good to be here. Period. So good.
Yes.
And Dan, would you love to comment? Or up to you, but
knew you were going to ask me.
Always putting you on the spot here.
I'd say, definitely the meditation session was great. It was definitely very relaxing. And kind of got a little overheated because I have a blanket on. But overall, the actual whole session here has been very educational. Um, since I've most of the time I've just been on the meditation sides, so it was nice to hear more of the background and all of the information, the different stages and steps.
Yeah, this was actually, at least in my mind, in the making for a while. But the way it came together, you know, uh, in my view, that's what I call blessing. So, cool. So, hello everyone, and again, let's just continue. Praveen, Preeti ji, Sanjeev ji. And Ajita, you want to say something?
Yes, I have this thought. It comes across my mind every now and then that I'm born in a family of practicing people. So my grandfathers and my parents have been in this practice. I've seen everything and it's amazing. But it just took some time for me to start meditation. And it's not until very recently that I started it. And I was just wondering, why couldn't I just like take to the practice? uh,
Sooner?
yeah. Yes, yes.
I remember the first conversation about the Tibetan meditation. And I am glad that, actually, to tell you the truth, Guru Maharaj himself tried so many things, so many things. And he, even served in Arya Samaj. And he was like, try this, try this, try this. A lot of things helped, but he felt that he didn't get what he really was looking for. And when he met Dada Guru Maharaj, his guru, for quite a while they knew each other, but that was it. I mean, he knew that he is a good person, but never felt that there was anything religious or even spiritual about him, right? So the journey that you're talking about is a journey. I think every individual has a journey, and that's why the pyramid, right? Wherever we and believe me, I can go on and on about this pyramid because I just feel that it gives the sense that wherever we are, we can move upwards, right? And whatever we do, I mean, at the end of the day, like a lot of people think that spirituality is about leaving everything and going somewhere, and it's like, uh, you know, s- uh, Guru Maharaj said that yes, for some people that may be good, but for normal people who want to live in this world, how can they achieve higher consciousness, higher level of, um, like, basically, I think what we heard today is like at the top of the pyramid, you are a better human being. So why shouldn't we be better human beings, right? So what we do to achieve that um, differs. And actually, I think if I recall it right, somewhere Guru Maharaj says that there are thousands of ways to do this climb, right? Um, and maybe there are hundreds of thousands, maybe there are millions, because every individual journey is unique. So having a flexible and um, more naturally integrated approach, um, and if you tried something else, uh, you know that's part of the journey, right? Now, the question that you really asked is like, why did it take this long to be back here? The thing is that the journey takes you what you really need, right? So if I want to drink something specific, right? I'll hit and try maybe, or some guidance or some research, and then I'll find it, right? So the thing is that um, it's you when you need something else, you go get that. When you need, you know so it's a very interesting thing. I have known people, they come to satsang, then they kind of quote unquote go away on their journey and come back like decades later. I personally know some people, right? So why? Because they needed to wrap up something else, and then come back, and So in a lot of ways, I think, or maybe Raghunathji or Devenji or someone might want to comment, but I, I feel every journey is unique, and what you need, you get when you need it in some ways. Yeah, sometimes we think that we are struggling, but I was thinking about a comment I read, because I was thinking like sometimes I have this writer's block. I can't write what I want to write, and then I was reading another writer's comment that when you are not writing, you are actually preparing. So what you think is a block actually is when the real work is happening. So anyway, that's a positive way to look at no progress. Well,
Makes sense. Thank you, Bhaiya.
sure thing.
Sanjeev ji, I just want to say thank you for organizing this. This is not only very efficient, it's also following Guru Maharaj's. His mission is not just for all of us to get the satsang, but also for us to help get the good word out. So it's admirable what you're doing, and I just want to pray to Guru Maharaj that you get all the energy and the strength to continue this.
So take this as a invitation to start joining this time every Saturday. I'm just no, whenever you can. I think personally, I feel that even for people who have known satsang, as Ajita was saying, like grandparents and stuff, like for sometimes generations, and a lot of us here are that way too. Um, I think we have to think about the next generation. We have to think about the format, the approach, uh, and make it, palatable. I don't know what's the right word, but it's just, it appears like, oh, meditation, why should I do it? And I was talking to somebody who teaches yoga, and he was saying, with this lifestyle that we have where we sit and do work, there is no activity, physical activity. Everyone will need yoga. And he meant like asanas and pranayams. And I think that should be my tagline. Everybody needs meditation wherever you are in your, you know, the journey, quote unquote.
Thank you.
Oh, good to see you here. We should, the experimentation and all that continues, but I think, yeah, we all should. Participation is satsang, basically. So, Shivangi, you're quiet?
Namaste, Bhaiya ji. Namaste, everyone. Um, so many good things were said. So I mean, I'm just here like every Saturday, just very happy to be here. And this is great. And I look forward to the evening session. So yeah, I really don't have anything to say. I mean, such good things have already
Okay,
been said.
so you reminded me. So in October, I think we will have what I call the immersive weekend. So all English, all weekend, three sessions, basically. Yeah. So it'll be a immersive weekend, October, I think 15th, 16th. So I might want to take this pyramid to the next level. So maybe divide it into three sessions and talk about each, maybe two realms that, what are the hurdles, what are the practices, how, what are the challenges, etc. And Arvindji, any good
Namaskar,
word?
bhaiya. Sabko namaskar. Just consider myself very fortunate and count my blessings that I'm able to join. We are under the canopy of Lord Krishna, as someone said. Namaskar.
So, Devenji, Gautam.
जी नमस्कार भाई साहब नमस्कार to everyone. We were listening everything and basically there is nothing to add, but one thing if we make sure in our life is the objective of the life, because whatever we want to do, and as we heard that the journey changes because we don't have clear objective of the life. So unless we are dead sure that this is the objective which I want to attain, I want to reach, I want to definitely make to that point of that objective, and the objective comes out of the mind. Because whatever we gather the knowledge, and it comes the objective or anything in our life is decided by the knowledge we have gathered or accumulated. In IT sector, as we know that we say garbage in and garbage out. And therefore, it is very important that what we accumulate, and that's called cleansing of the mind. And that's what Ajay ji was talking about it. Because unless we have the clear brain, unless we have the clear mind, we will not be able to have that wisdom what we were talking about it. And anything to do, we need a strength. The Guru Maharaj, what this satsang or what this process he has given, basically what it does is it says do nothing at that only. That's the process starts cleansing our mind. And once the minds are clean, it is clean slowly, it takes time, and that's where is the basic process, that once we come then only we attain the wisdom. And only after attaining the wisdom we really understand the objective of the life. Because anything, if we decide why nirvana, why do we want this peace? Unless we understand that, unless our mind is clear about that, then we will be wandering here and there. We will decide today something, one thing, and tomorrow something else. And that's where we go on changing our path till our mind is 100% sure, no, this is my objective, and then we really start the journey. So it's a very long time, it takes time, but again, I wish everyone a success in their journey, and pray to the Guru Maharaj that he bless us all.
Ji. So Praveen, Preeti ji. So Gautam, Anit, Amit.
Namaskar, Via. Namaskar, everyone. Well, we wait for one full year every year for this occasion, for this spiritual gathering, and it's we are very fortunate to be here. I'm very fortunate to be here and part of this special group. And it's very interesting to hear from everyone where everyone is in their journey on that pyramid. And I feel that I still have to travel a long distance, but every Guru Poornima and every spiritual gathering that we have as part of this satsang, it just helps me to stay connected, stay grounded, and kind of um, feel that I am making progress. When we go away and we get lost in the worldly matters, it just takes the focus away from being on this path. But every time we come back here in this environment, in this setting, it just helps us to re-energize, refocus, and continue to make that progress. So I just hope and pray that we continue to get that blessing from Guru Maharaj for me, for all of us to keep marching forward in that journey that all of us are, you know, going after, and and may Guru Maharaj show us the path and keep us focused and engaged and continue to contribute towards his mission.
Very good. So I think we can go all day long here. It looks like to me. Um, so, while it looks like we're still in the, I don't feel like wrapping this up, to tell you the truth. But Eddie, any thoughts to wrap up?
So much has been said. So much good advice has been given. I appreciate being here today. I would just like to say that in this system of satsang, Guru Maharaj does much of the heavy lifting, but it's also required of us to do our share. If we wish to expedite this process, one thing that we should remember is the idea of surrender. Um, as we develop our affections for Guru Maharaj and draw nearer to him, the more and the better he is able to help us calm our minds and cleanse the five sheaths. So it's something you should just keep in mind as we practice.
All right. On that note, we'll, see you all very soon. And, I don't know. I still feel that there's so much energy here. It's amazing, amazing. But yeah, we'll see you all soon. Thank you for all the contribution in terms of thoughts, questions, comments, and the discussion on the 5 steps. It was really enlightening, literally. And see you all soon.
Namaskar, Via. Namaskar, everyone.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, Bhaiya. Thank you.
नमस्कार भैया.
सभी को प्रणाम. नमस्कार भैया.
Namaskar.
प्रणाम भैया.
प्रणाम भैया.
नमस्कार भैया.
Namaskar, Ji. Namaskar.
प्रणाम भैया.
Namaskar.
भैया मेरा भी प्रणाम. सौरभ.
Namaskar, bhai sahab. How are you?
I am good. It was really bliss. It was total bliss.
बहुत अच्छा रहा, बहुत बढ़िया.
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा. अच्छा भैया, नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
भैया.
सबको नमस्कार।
हाँ, नमस्कार रघुनाथ जी।
नमस्कार।
प्रणाम चाचा, सभी को प्रणाम।
प्रणाम।
नमस्कार, नमस्ते ताऊ जी।
हाँ, नमस्कार नमस्कार रौनक, क्या हाल चाल?
बस बढ़िया सर।